Hello, I want to say a few words today about players and power. And one of the things that I want to highlight today as far as the players in our lives are concerned is that it is very often, not always, but it's very often about the power. And how much power and control someone can have over another person. And that, for some of us, can be quite hard to understand because some of us who work on ourselves and work on maintaining our own personal power within may find it hard to understand that some people gain their power through interaction with other people. And through, specifically, being able to have control and power, therefore, over another. And so I wanted to highlight a couple of points today. One of them being that we need to be aware sometimes that other people are not necessarily made the same way that we are. And for many people, and especially in line with our socialisation, which is quite a lot of the time based on competition, we are sometimes made aware that there are certain people who gain their feeling of power through having power over others and being able to control and manipulate them, manipulate their emotions or manipulate them psychologically, which is where we get gaslighting, it's where we get brainwashing from, so that someone is easier to manipulate if we have charge of their psychology and their emotions. So, today I wanted to highlight the ways that we are sometimes played through our emotions, our mentality, and our actions, so that the player type person can come in under the radar using manipulation and control, and therefore gaining power over another individual, which is their way, as I said earlier, of feeling plumped up, feeling bigger than they are, feeling bigger than other people, and it fills up their personal power through gaining light, gaining energy from other people, and taking their energy away from them. So, not only do they gain energy, but importantly, they weaken the other person in the process, which means when we become weakened and our power base is lessened, we are easier to control and manipulate. So, if we have someone in our life, for instance, that is undermining us, who is criticising us, who is trying to downgrade us in some way, then we become weakened, and that other person is controlling our power and using it for themselves, which we are more likely to give willingly if we have been downgraded and undermined, and our self-esteem has been affected, and our self-confidence has been affected, because when we have been put into a less powerful position, we are more likely to compromise ourselves and to give ourselves over, to give our energy over, to give our soul over to another human being or another being, because we have already been weakened. And we may think that if we do that, if we keep compromising ourselves, by sacrificing ourselves to the other person, that we may gain some energy back, or we may gain love or acceptance or whatever it is that we need. And people who play us, and narcissistic people as well, know these things about human beings, and they use them in order to bring the person in line with their agenda so that they can gain power and control that person, so that they can continue taking that energy from them, and that person will remain low and under their foot, as it were, so that they can continue to manipulate, can continue to control, and therefore continue to build themselves up so that they feel over time stronger and stronger, and the other person, the partner, tends to feel weaker and weaker because they've given over so much of themselves that they are unable to maintain any sort of power base at the end of the day, and they've been brought under the control of the Playa type person completely, which is where you sometimes get people unable to leave because they have no personal power left. They possibly have very little self-esteem and self-confidence, and they are virtually, in some cases, completely in the hands of this player because they've handed over everything, they've compromised their being, and they have literally nothing left to fight with. And through brainwashing, they may have been told various things about them, and they may have handed over their identity so that the abuser is actually in charge of their identity and their actions and the way they feel about themselves, whilst still giving their power to the player as well. So I hope that's helpful, and I just wanted to raise those issues really as far as other people gaining power and control by manipulating other people's power and energy. As always, stay safe and very happy. Bye-bye.